go to the van, get the 9-inch grinder, the DeWalt Kango, a shitty paper mask, and a shitty pair of overalls. You're going chasing houses. Welcome to Simplified Sparky Marketing. That was literally my first 9 months of my apprenticeship, was chasing fucking houses. There was about 10 of them, and I chased every single one of them, and everything in that fucking house was electric. I don't know about you, but when I started my apprenticeship, I had no clue what some power tools were, what some hand tools were, what particular cable sizes were, how cables ran from A to B, how the whole electrical system worked. Well, can you think back to your first week as an apprentice? But something I'll never forget is my first week as an apprentice. But as I said, I spent it chasing houses. I spent the 9 months chasing houses with a little bit of electrical in between. And it was all because that dickhead wanted to test my metal and see how long I'd last. And that was just a different generation. What I'm going to speak about is marketing, and are you marketing to your correct tribe or your correct client? So what I'm seeing a lot of is electricians flexing to other electricians. There's 3 different ways you can market on your Instagram and TikTok and all of that. So TikTok, in my opinion, is particularly good to attract staff because it's where the younger breed are hanging out, and it's a good place to demonstrate your culture, what you do, and all of that. So I think TikTok is fantastic to find staff if you can hack younger staff. I can't. That's particularly up to you. 3 different ways, as I was saying. So you've got it could be purely use your socials to attract staff, to be like, this seems like a cool company, good culture, I want to work with them. Now there is the mixed bag of you're using it to attract staff, you're showing a little bit of culture, and then you're predominantly showing your finished works or maybe a project or something that you're doing or some works that you've done. But then there is the other way of looking unprofessional. I think it was a few months ago, someone had come back from Christmas. It was captioned "Work hard, play hard," and it was 2 guys cupping each other. And when I say cupping, one was behind the other and they were hugging. And there was a golf club between the guy's legs at the rear, and it was mimicking a penis, basically. And I thought that was hilarious. I chuckled at it because I'm an electrician. But if a client is looking at that, doesn't look so professional, and that's entirely up to that company of how they want to do it. But I think sometimes companies do that just having a laugh, but at the end of the day, is a Sparky going to pay your bill? And if you're level 2, I stand corrected. But if it is just your usual guy that's going into people's houses, if I'm a client, I'm seeing some 2 staff members mess around with a golf club pretending it's a penis, I don't want them in my house in around kids and stuff like that. Straight up, that's kind of my thought on it. So that's what I'm saying is, like, when you do something to market your business, you need to think, who is this end product for? Do they know what it is? So this is rewinding back to the start of when you post something of a roof space or underneath the house and it's dirty, it's dark, there's cables everywhere, and you take a picture and you post it on social media and you put the latest trending audio of, at the moment, it's Anxiety, which that fucking song is grinding me at the moment because it's in every fucking reel. If you post that, a picture underneath the house, and you've got the caption going, ugh, that makes no sense, absolutely no sense to a client. And I'll give you an example of this. I bet you this will fucking hit home with you. When you're scrolling on your Instagram, let's say it's Instagram, let's say you happen to be following a gardener, okay? And you're scrolling, and next thing you see a gardener, and he has a trench dug out around a garden bed, and he's got 2 pieces of sprinkler irrigation pipe put in the ground. And it's just an average photo, but it just shows he's just put a little bit of sprinkler in the ground. Are you going to stop and look at that and go, fuck, that's class? I highly doubt that. Same thing with a plumber. If you have a plumber, you take a picture of, let's say he's got an upright pipe and he's about to put the tap on. He's got the tap in his hand and he's placing it over the upright pipe to put it on to crimp the pipe, whatever plumbers do. And are you going to stop and look and like that photo and go, fuck, I want that guy's business? This is the belief shift I want to put into you of who is the person, one individual, your ideal client, who is that person that you're marketing your business to? Are you actually showing them the kind of material that make them stop and think, that company is awesome, I love their content, I appreciate what they're doing, it's professional, I want to use that company? Because if you don't look professional, you look cheap, in my opinion. If you do stupid things, you look like the knockabout cheap company. Whereas if you come across professional, you can charge professional. That's my 2 cents on it. There's some people on Instagram that I follow that are doing a fucking phenomenal job of this. An example of one of the people that I'm following is most days he'll take a picture of the house or something like that. He'll list out what he's doing in the house, and he's posting pictures of what he's doing, a list of what's going on in the house. He may then take a selfie video while he's in the roof or putting up a fucking cable or underneath the house, but he's talking through what he's doing. So that's a big difference of taking the picture underneath the house, looking at the cables going from A to B, and a caption going, ugh. Whereas if he's underneath the house going, I'm just pulling a cable from this area for the hot water system from the switchboard over there. I'm going to crawl under here. It's going to go over there. That's interesting. That's interesting. And the guy comes across so well that he's the kind of guy you'd have a beer with. I want that guy in my home. What this does when you start doing selfie videos is you develop a paranormal relationship. What that is, let's say hypothetically, you're watching NRL or AFL. Week in, week out, you're following your team. And then it comes to you actually go to one of the games. You sit on the sideline and one of your favorite players walk along the sideline and you feel like you know that player. And you're like, oh, there's Nathan Cleary. He's actually smaller in real life, isn't he? And you feel like you know them. And that's what happens. That's why this particular gentleman is getting a lot of work as well, because he's being very personable and people feel like they know him before they even hire him. And it's such a good way of doing your social medias. And I fucking love it. They know the exact type of work that he's doing. He's explaining the work. He's building authority. And that's what you need to do. So circling back to electricians following electricians, this is why electricians follow electricians. It's because you're putting up content that's relevant to electricians. And I know there's electricians out there that purely put up content to get followed by electricians. A lot of guys in the UK do this. They put up like cable stripping or tools or whatever. And that results in electricians following, which is maybe his end goal. But I'm sure you as a business owner, as a Sparky, you don't want followers that are electricians, because likes and shares and comments, they're not going to pay the bills. What's going to pay the bills is a client seeing your content, seeing your work, authority, and then picking you as their electrician to do the work. That's what you want, the end goal of your social media. If you're in business for a charity organization, for electricians to give you likes, I stand corrected. But most people listening to this are going to say, okay, my content, the next time I make something, is it relevant to my ideal client? And if you don't know who your ideal client is, there's a link in the description. In day 2, you're going to find out exactly who your ideal client is in my emails underneath. People don't want to see the eggs, the milk and flour mushed around. They just want to see the chocolate cake at the end of it. So if your marketing isn't clear to your ideal client, it's just going to be noise. It's not going to be a thumb stopper and you're going to get electricians following you. So I'm going to end with this. Market to your clients, not your crew. Likes are nice, but they're not going to pay the bills. Real quick, if you get a sec, please tick the stars in the podcast, rate it, subscribe so it tingles in your pocket every time it's released. And also, as I mentioned, all the links and associated stuff is linked underneath in the show notes. If you're struggling anyway with any content I speak about, it's all covered in my emails. Link is underneath. It takes 2 seconds to get it, and I'll see you in the next one.